So in honor of Stan Lee passing away, let's make this podcast
Excelsior.
So I'm Aaron. I'm the one who delayed the podcast today because I lost my championship game or playoff game in a 6 overtime performance. Very disappointing.
And I'm Josh, who sat at his house waiting like a puppy for his master to come home. When's he coming? Is he coming at all? You know, get the phone call. It might be a while. We might have to do it tomorrow.
It was very devastating yesterday. And now I get the devastating news of Stan Lee.
Yeah. You know what?
It's been a shit week.
Yeah. You know, Stan Lee, man, what can you say about that guy? Not enough, right?
Guy lived a full life. 95.
Yeah, exactly.
But he created pretty much everything I love. So whether you want to get into it with, Jack Kirby did it, not Stan Lee. Well, Stan Lee took it to the whole next level. And without him, Marvel would never be what it is. So think about it. Next to like Walt Disney, who else has really like created a universe that will live on forever and ever?
You're 100% correct.
Pretty much it, dude.
Two guys. And they're so, what's pretty cool is like you don't have anybody like that doing that anymore. You don't have these creators of, something that you can grow up with. And these are, Disney and Stan Lee, Marvel Comics. I'm a DC fan, but I got to give Marvel props and Stan Lee props where it is. And they created these things for you to grow up with. And if you liked it as a child, it stays with you for your lifetime. That's pretty fucking powerful.
Yeah, so sad news.
Yeah.
But we got some exciting announcements. So I'm going to give a little tease, and anyone who's a horror fan should obviously know what this is from. But we're going to have an interview coming up. And all I'm going to say is, brains. If you don't know what that's from, I don't know, get a clue maybe. But yeah, good interview coming up.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man.
So that'll probably be next episode. Maybe we'll throw one in between there.
Yeah,
Depends on when we can get it scheduled. But
yeah,
it's happening.
Yeah, we're in contact and just working on the final schedule on that. Looking forward to it.
We got the great Allentown Comic Con coming up.
The return of the great Allentown Comic Con. I mean, this is a show that
it's been a 3-year hiatus, maybe.
I think it's longer, man, because I was hitting this. It's got to be at least 4 or 5 years, man.
You haven't hit it in a while.
Yeah. Well,
you
got to go there.
He just didn't. He fell right in line.
Yeah. Pick on the single guy. It's all right. It's all right.
It's too easy.
Now, this is a little cute Comic Con, I think, in the Lehigh Valley. It's when I went, it wasn't terrible. It was I got good books there. There was a somewhat decent guest list. I got to meet Peter Mayhew, got to spend time with him. Jeremy Bullock, who was Boba Fett. A couple other people that I met there, Disney animators and everything. It was a cool little show. Kind of curious to see what the return is going to be like. I think the guest list is a little, on the weak side.
It's weak,
but
we'll maybe get some interviews from there. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Jake the Snake's there.
Yeah, Jake the Snake.
I want to have him DDT me through a fucking table. That's what I want. Like, how much does that cost?
I don't know, but I'll pay for it.
$50?
I got you covered. I'll pay $100 for that shit.
Yeah, you got to interview Jake the Snake.
Yeah, Jake the Snake. Felix Silla is there. If you don't know who Felix Silla is, he's a little person, and I met him a couple years ago at a convention here in Lehigh Valley, and he was Twiggy on Buck Rogers. He was an Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and he was Cousin It on the Addams Family. And I talked to them before. Real cool dude. I hope to talk to him again.
Yeah, so we'll play those, and then we'll give out, what books we found, whether show's even worthwhile. Personally, I think it's going to be a train wreck, but that's half the fun of going, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's the same people that do the Philadelphia Comic Con that we went to.
It is, and that was a decent show. Yeah, but where this is at, Merchant Square, it's a small flea market location. Even the setting sounds depressing. So
it is.
It's a Comic Con. I gotta go.
Yeah, and it's so close to us. So what else we got going on, man?
I got the new Savage World review, the horror figures up on YouTube, and I'm going to do the Thundercats review this week, as promised in that video. I did find them after my 5th GameStop store.
Really?
It's fucking packaging. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, you're saying it looks terrible, man. Too overall it's okay looking, but the quality sucks, man.
They're just, everything is dented and smashed, and even the guy at GameStop is like, yeah, we can't even put half of them on the shelf. I'm like, are you serious? So if I'm seeing ones on the shelf that are already damaged, I can't imagine what they're holding back. but I'm just going by what the guy told me. So
yeah, check
those out.
The
Dysfunctional
YouTube channel.
Nerdcast. That's all I got is really as far as announcements, but there's been a shit ton of news.
Of course, there's always,
as always,
yeah.
right?
I'm glad it's picking up too, man.
Yeah, there's been a lot. So we'll get into, I guess, the TV news. A lot of shows, popping off. Purge season 2 was announced.
Very cool.
And I thought season 1 ended pretty well. I really enjoyed it. I think season 2 is going to go in a whole new direction. Hopefully, it ends on kind of where it could go either way. Maybe they would continue the story, but just give me a whole new cast of people. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit I haven't seen the first season yet. I just haven't had the time with all the other shit that I'm watching. But from everything you told me, man, it sounds pretty cool, and I do want to check it out, and I will check it out. And I'm kind of excited that something horror related is getting another series on TV.
I was surprised because I just thought this was going to be a one-off thing.
That's what I thought.
And they did announce that the next movie will be the last. So I kind of thought everything was kind of winding down, and then they announced season 2. Obviously, it performed well enough for USA, and I'm looking forward to it. So good news, horror world.
Absolutely.
And then sticking with the TV stuff, kind of Netflix, Sabrina started.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really going to watch this show or even talk about this, but the weekend it came out, I was in 3 different comic book stores. And the owner or people were talking in all 3 of those shows about, oh, have you seen Sabrina? You got to watch it. It's just the greatest show. You got to watch it. I'm like, really? I didn't think comic people were that into like Archie and the Sabrina thing. So it piqued my interest. I had to watch it. So I'm only 2 episodes in, but I think overall it's decent.
Yeah, I got, you told me about it, and I did want to see it. You kind of pushed me to watch it, and I'm 3 episodes in, and it's like I almost have to stop from binging it, and because it is really good, man. I like the story, I like the plot. It's funny. It's got a little sick, twisted humor in there too. I think it's got a good thing going for it. I really do.
They're going with a more adult themed. It's definitely like teen plus. It's not Melissa Joan Hart bullshit. That's for sure. No. She ain't talking to her fucking cat nonstop.
No, and there's like, there's themes in there that are a little bit more for not a mature audience, but like, a 10-year-old kid might not even find it interesting, but I think they're doing a really good job.
There's some sexual things in there, I guess, and then there's some blood. I mean, it's not hardcore by any means, but it's definitely, I don't think it's for like an 8-year-old kid either.
No, and like I just think they might not understand everything. The special effects are pretty decent. I didn't find much, wrong with that at all, as far as like, the creatures involved and some of the magic and things like that. The only thing that's kind of bothering me that, I was talking to you about was, to me, there's some kind of filter that's on some scenes that's kind of makes the outside edge look hazy. And it's almost like, when you focus in on that central point of something, that's going to be in focus, but it's clearly not. It's because you can see it get, like close in a little bit. So that's kind of annoying to me because it kind of, to me, detracts from the scene overall. And then there's the lens flare. Like, there's like lamps on the table and there's just that blue lens flare. I don't know if J.J. Abrams had any pointers on this or what, but someone said, hey, how can we make this kind of look different? Lens flare. Just go with the lens flare.
See, I didn't pick up on this.
Watch it, man.
I swear to God, if all I can concentrate on is damn filter and lens flare, like I'm going to ball tap you because I just...
What, like you did the other week? But that was more pleasurable. No, dude.
I did not notice it, but I wasn't looking for it. Now I'm going to be looking for it.
You're going to be looking for it. You're going to be like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Dude, look for it. It's there. I'm telling you. Right, well, but it's still a really good series, and I'm pleasantly fucking surprised. And it's WB producing it. So, are we going to see an Archie crossover? That's what I'm curious about. Because I noticed that. And
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would love to see it, because I think Riverdale is a good show, too.
My only slight problem with this, and this is just my, I don't know, sexism, I guess. Sabrina's not hot enough. Like, the chicks on Riverdale are fucking smoking. But just give me a smoking Sabrina, man.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't mind that for this series, because for once, it's not the smoking hot, blonde bubblegum girl, and the popular preppy people. These are the misfits her group of friends, they're all the misfits in the school. You know, you have Sabrina, who's kind of cutish, I guess, but she's still kind of like that tomboy. Her one friend is a book nerd, and her other friend is a woman or a girl that kind of looks like a boy and gets teased about it. So you got your whole, you know, gender thing going there. So I think they're all the misfits. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They're just not the popular people in
So
high
you
school.
associate with the misfits.
Absolutely.
I associate with the hot people.
So you were the dickheads that I fucking hated in high school, man.
So this is how we relate to the characters here. But I wanted to just touch on like a little bit of spec with comic books, because I don't think people really know too much about Archie and Sabrina. It's not your Marvel DC stuff. But if you're interested, the first ever appearance of Sabrina is Archie's Madhouse number 22. I don't know. I think it's from like the 60s, late 60s. You're never going to find that book in like a dollar bin or anything, but it's a couple $100 book. But you may find it off the beaten path, like cheaper than it's going for if you want to flip it. But really what the show is based after is Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which only came out a couple years ago. And when I looked on release day, mycomicshop.com had the book for $6. It's already over $20 now, and it's only been out, a week?
A couple of weeks, yeah.
So that book's like majorly spiking. There's a lot of sales on eBay. That's a book that you can easily find. You could find it for like $3-4 in your comic back bins. But I think the better spec actually is Afterlife with Archie, number 6, which that series is where Archie's like a zombie. So that book goes already for money, number 1. But number 6 is actually the first appearance of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So she makes her first appearance in there. She had a spin-off book. So that's where probably the crossover thing could happen as well. But she is on a variant cover. So it's a variant cover of Archie, and it has Sabrina actually on the cover. Cover appearances always sell. It's her first true appearance, and that book's only $8. So I would say snag that. I think it'll be like a $30-40 book.
Yeah, and I think this series is going to catch on, and people are going to be talking about it more and more.
And I just saw today that they're doing a special December or holiday episode. So sometime in December, they are going to have a holiday-themed Sabrina. So it's already catching on. You know there's going to be a season 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So the books aren't going to go anywhere.
No.
And the character's been around forever.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? Really, like Archie, it's something that does transcend generations. You know, like I think my parents read Archie. I've read Archie. My son is now reading Archie. Like
I'll admit, I never read it, but
it's so goofy and funny that it's just a stupid read. But it's something that, you know, everybody can kind of relate to, and just it's a quick read. You're just like, you can laugh, and that's
everyone knows what it is, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, fucking Archie and Jughead, Betty and Veronica.
Yeah.
Never read it. I know who they are.
Moose, Midge,
got them all. You know,
yeah,
it's classic.
Mr. Weatherby.
So with the other comic TV news, I saw Derek Mears was cast as Swamp Thing. And for the horror world, Derek Mears, of course, played Jason in the newest Friday the 13th. And then he played Predator in the Predator movie that came out a couple years ago. So he's obviously a character, or like a demon type character he can play. He's a good actor. I think he's perfect for Swamp Thing.
Yeah, he's good to get into a suit, which I think we talked earlier. Swamp Thing's going with practical effects.
Correct.
So he's going to be wearing a suit. I mean, if he did Jason, he did Predator. Like, he's got the build for it. I'm excited about that casting.
And there is another actor that was cast as whatever his real name is. I don't know shit about Swamp Thing, to be honest. So whoever is Swamp Thing before he turns into him, that will be a different actor.
Yeah.
But then Derek Mears, and he's such a cool guy too. If you meet him in real life, you cannot meet a nicer guy.
Yeah, and they cast quite a slew of people. I don't have all that information right here, but that series is pretty much almost done casting and should start production from what I've read.
And that's going to be on the DC streaming service.
DC streaming.
Which you've gotten into Titans. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard like really good stuff about it.
Dude, I binged it this weekend, the first 5 episodes, and it, you know, I was kind of leery at first, you know, because, you know, as a DC fan, I love the DC movies. I know they can be better. This series, if they took this attitude towards as they did making this series and put it into their movies, be fucking awesome, fantastic movies. This series, I'm not fanboying on this. I'm just saying this is a good series. Very well done. The effects are well done. The story is really good. Everybody's introduced properly. You get little origins to everybody, but it's not drawn out. Even though they don't get together as a team until like the 5th episode, you still see them work together in little teams. And the build up to it, it's not as drawn out as you would think. You're like, oh, 4 or 5 episodes? That's a long time.
Yeah, because that does sound brutal to me hearing it.
No, it's not. Like, honestly, it's not as brutal as The Defenders was at all.
Yeah, like I wanted episode 1 to be the Defenders getting together, not
exactly
the last episode.
No, but I think what saves Titans is that it starts off with a punch in the fucking face with Robin going ballistic on these fucking criminals. And what he does is just, you don't think it's Dick Grayson. You don't think it's the first Robin. Like, he is fucking brutal. And it kind of explains why he's not with Batman anymore. He wanted to go in a different direction than Batman. Batman doesn't kill. Batman, doesn't seek like the revenge that on the level that Dick Grayson wanted to in this series in particular. And you get the cut between them very quickly. It's not drawn out. There's a little bit of a background with him being basically adopted by Bruce Wayne, but it's not drawn out. We don't get Bruce Wayne's origin story.
Thank God.
But, we all know Dick Grayson and his parents dying at the circus, and it maybe was not an accident, as they were trapeze artists. But you get that, and you need that because that's Dick Grayson, right? I don't think we've seen that as many times as, the Waynes getting killed in the alley. Very well done. And everybody comes together very well.
And then Doom Patrol and
Hawk and Dove
make an appearance. That's pretty cool. And they're going to have spin-off shows.
Right. And that's what is really cool because I think it's the 2nd episode is entitled Hawk and Dove. And it's about them. And it introduces them. So when their show comes out, you already know about them. If you're a DC fan or if you're interested in this and you saw Titans, you now know where they come from. Again, another one, Doom Patrol. It's an episode entitled Doom Patrol. And it's a whole episode about them. I mean, not all 55 minutes or 50 minutes of it, but it's about them. You get their origin. You get Beast Boy's origin in it. And, it was just enough.
I'm just hoping my Hawk and Dove #1s take off spec-wise. So
they should, because
I've been digging those out for months. So
casting-wise for Hawk and Dove, quickly, perfect. Who they have cast for them, which I'm not sure, and I got to look this up. Perfect. Like it's Hawk and Dove.
So going along with some movie news, I saw Rambo: Last Blood is coming out next year.
Last Blood. Are we sure?
For now.
For now.
For now. It's like every time he does a Rocky or like a Creed 2 is coming out, like he always follows it up with a Rambo.
I guess you kind of have
I
to.
fucking love Rambo. It's a little bit off our beaten path of what we really talk about, but I was just like, it's a cool announcement. And from what I'm reading, he handles or goes against a Mexican cartel.
See,
it's a little weak story point, but
dude, you told me that, and I was kind of like, I don't know, we're not going to be in a jungle. Like, I don't know. Except for the Afghanistan. Was it Rambo 3 when he's in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Like, everything's Vietnam related. So maybe he's branching out.
But I think he's not going to be military anymore. I mean, he's probably going to be like a private hire. The guy's like 60, 70 years old. It's not like he's going to be fighting in the military as active duty.
Well, he's always kind of been like a mercenary vigilante kind anyway, right?
I guess.
He's gone in his own way,
I'm excited for it, though. I'll definitely see it.
Absolutely.
And then I just want to touch a little bit on collectible news I thought was cool is NECA is making the first ever Laurie Strode action figure. So people have been asking for this figure since like 1996 when Movie Maniacs came out. Everybody has wanted Laurie. We're not getting her in the new movie, or I'm sorry, the old movie. She's going to be in the new movie.
I was going to ask, which one is it?
So obviously the movie was highly successful. It has become the highest rated slasher of all time, grossing wise.
For some reason.
I mean, I think the figure is going to sell crazily. The prototype looked pretty good from what I saw of it. So again, it's the first ever Laurie figure. I definitely have to get it. I don't care how bad the movie was.
Well, yeah, I would expect you to. Do you think they would ever go back and do one from the first movie?
I think they're going to. And then I wouldn't be surprised if you get like a box set of the two of them together at some point. That
would be cool.
The way NECA re-releases shit.
So they do an H2O version.
Ooh, I'd buy that. Maybe no. What they'll do is NECA's famous for coming out with figures, and then they do that deluxe box packaging.
Yeah.
So they'll make Laurie with like 6 different heads. It'll be like a Halloween 1, a Halloween 2, H2O, Resurrection, and then this one.
I see.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
You're gonna have to talk me off the ledge on this one though. So, with the success of Halloween, it's actually coming out on Blu-ray January 19th. That's like really fast, right? It's pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, it is.
So Best Buy already announced that they're doing a Steelbook exclusive, and it's the Bill Sienkiewicz artwork from that he released at San Diego Comic-Con. I thought the fucking poster was awesome, and I wanted that poster so bad, but it's like $100 poster. I'm not paying that. But now I'm like, do I order the Steelbook because it's got the Sienkiewicz artwork, which is awesome, but it's $33. I'm like, I just got the regular one for $25.
Go for it.
It's a movie I don't even like. I have to buy it for the collection, no doubt about it. But
and you'll never watch it again.
But I'm like, I need the Sienkiewicz, right?
I think you do.
All right,
I'm just talking you into spending $8 more. Fuck you.
I thought you'd be like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
No,
but
because I would do the same thing if it was a Star Wars thing. I'd be like, oh, fuck, I gotta have that one.
All right.
You know how many versions of the original trilogy I have? I got 2 on VHS. I got the original DVDs. I got the re-release DVDs. I got this DVD. I got the Blu-rays. I got this, that. It's never ending. You got to do it.
I'm pre-ordering then. Right after the show, I'm pre-ordering.
Nice.
So that's kind of all I had with figure and collectible news. So hit us up at dysfunctionalnerdcast@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube, whatever. Leave our 5-star reviews on all the podcast directories. Hit us up on Twitter.
At the Nerdcast is the Twitter handle.
Yeah, so we got all kinds of shit going on.
Yeah, we're on the Facebook too, as always. And I've been trying to put up some news and tweet shit out because you're anti-social media. So yeah, check us all out on the social media. Shall we get on to part 2 of our podcast here?
Yeah, we have to talk about it. I mean,
much as I didn't want to, because I said, I think in the last episode, we'll talk mid-season. It's not mid-season yet.
But it's like one of the biggest things that happened in Walking Dead in a long time. And it's obviously the death of Rick.
You didn't do air quotes around the death.
Well, the audience really couldn't see the air quotes. I kind of just implied it with my voice. We'll get into that whole thing, but they did what they wanted to do. I have never heard more discussion about Walking Dead on forums, on other podcasts than I have this week. So if they wanted to generate buzz, whether people liked it or didn't like it, it generated a huge amount of discussion.
It did.
So people keep saying the show, it sucks. Well, guess what? Everybody talked about this week? Rick's finale. So what are your initial thoughts of what happened?
Not knowing what they were going to do after this episode, I did not know it at the time. I thought it was kind of weak, but it does give them now the opportunity to do what they did with Fear and reboot it. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to reboot this fucking series, which they have to do in order for it to have any longevity and to start this whole Walking Dead universe that they want to do. But going into it, the episode before his final episode, dude, he's riding a horse in the middle of nowhere, gets
Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, thrown off the fucking horse onto a pile of rubble in the middle of the fucking woods somewhere, into a rebar that goes through his fucking abdomen.
There would have never been a building there, but
no, I don't even know what the fuck this rubble was for. It wasn't a bridge. It almost looked like it was concrete and rebar. There was no building there. It was just a pile of rubble. Nobody moved that shit there. It was just totally unfucking realistic to me. That's what pissed me off.
Maybe
right
it was
away.
like an illegal dumping ground.
At an intersection on a dirt road. It was a fucking dirt road.
Well, where else would you dump it? You're not going to dump it right off the highway.
I dump it in the river. No, I wouldn't. I'm a peace-loving hippie, so I don't do that shit. But that totally fucking just stupid. And here's a horse that's been through and dealing with walkers. All of a sudden gets scared of them. I guess that can happen. I'm not a horse guy. I guess horses get spooked. You see it in the movies all the time. And a horse fucking throws them off. And you're like, oh, here's the fucking kicker.
Hey, again, Christopher Reeve was used to a horse too. He got thrown off the fucking thing. So, I mean.
True.
That's a horse made for riding.
You just got to keep bringing him up, don't you?
I
Poor
do.
guy, man. Poor dude, man.
He's probably the curse of DC.
DC's curse.
Yeah, ever since they've been fucking terrible.
But,
I knew right from the get-go, like, I don't know if they did it on purpose. I assume they did, but the white horse came out, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, you ride the white horse.
yeah, why does it always have to be that?
You know, so I'm like, I knew right away that's something was going to happen with this damn horse. But my initial reactions were like yours. You know, obviously, I think everyone knows at this point, Rick doesn't really die. He gets taken by a helicopter to a new place. I was really pissed at the ending. Because
absolutely,
they never say where he's going. The end of the episode has a flash forward that they announced was 6 years later. And I'm thinking, within 6 years, you've never came back to the family that you were so desperately trying to get back to. You have a supposed daughter there, maybe at Shane's, but you took it as your own. You don't try to get back. You don't want to get back to see Michonne.
Right, the woman you love.
It's just like, it made no sense. And I'm like, I have all these fucking answers. I hate when they end a movie without any conclusion to it. Like, I watch a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you're not giving me the end, that means I wasted my whole fucking time. But afterwards, like you said, doing the 3-movie thing, I'm actually really enjoyed what they did with it. I'm happy the direction it's going. And I know I'll get my answers in the movies.
We better get our answers. That's the thing. But not knowing it going into, like, I did not know they were going to do this trilogy of movies. It's going to be a Rick trilogy, right? So not knowing that, it was fucking stupid. If you do not know that, and if you don't know it now, it's kind of like, what the fuck are they thinking? Honestly, like, what the fuck is going on? No, like you said, no finality to it. It's just a question mark in the fucking air. I don't get that. Knowing there's a trilogy, dude, they have to totally explain why he's not going back to his family. And a whole episode revolved around my family. He lost Carl. He lost his wife. The kid's not even his. He has nobody, right? And he finally realizes, you are my family. Michonne, the woman he now loves. Daryl, Carol, everybody the communities, Maggie, everybody coming together. And this is my family. I know this now. You have to explain why he's not going to go look for them. Is it amnesia? Is he just like...
It better not be fucking amnesia. It's so stupid.
Well, that's classic soap opera bullshit.
I think it could be as simple as, like, if these people have helicopters, they probably have planes or access to planes. Maybe they fucking take him overseas. The dude wants to work in London anyway. Maybe they'll film the damn thing and he's in London. In a post-apocalyptic world where you have no access to planes and helicopters and you're not going to take a fucking boat across the ocean, he may want to get back as much as possible.
Yeah.
Try to sail across the fucking ocean and get back to him.
Right.
Not going to happen. That's easily explainable.
And that would be cool because we only know what's happening to, if you watch Fear and you watch Walking Dead, 2 select groups, right? You only know what's happening in the United States on the West Coast and the East Coast and how they evolved and, dealt with this situation. What the fuck is happening in the rest of the world? We've never touched on that. Could this be a really good opportunity for them to say, hey, this is what's going on in England?
And they are going to do other mini series and like one-off shows that are going to show the rest of the world. So
maybe that all fits in. And maybe you're right that he can't get across the ocean. But you know what? The fucking Pilgrims did it on the Mayflower. And people did. John Smith, I think it was John Smith, went to Roanoke. He did it too.
I think it would
could be done.
It
It
would
could be
be,
done.
but it would be less believable. Like to me, Rick just becoming a nautical engineer
but
all
he-
of a sudden and just fucking find his way. That is like, oh my god, talk about eye rolling.
Well, if he did it, yeah, I'd fucking be like TV off in a second. But wouldn't you find someone who could cross the fucking ocean? Wouldn't you? No, you would not stop.
I don't
He
think
did
those
not
people
stop.
are left. Like, there's not many strands left out there.
I don't know. It's TV though.
You don't even know
Shit
what
happens.
I'm talking about because you don't even know fucking Fear the Walking Dead.
Fuck fear.
You talked about a little bit. I typically hate false marketing. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like up in arms about this whole thing. I didn't really find it false marketing. I just found it a bunch of lemmings were like, oh, it's Rick's final episode. He has to be dead. They never once announced that he was dying. They just said it's Rick's final episode.
I think that's
which
you.
it is.
I think that's you compensating for something, and I'm not sure what, but it's
For once, AMC surprised us.
yeah.
And
for once,
it was a big reveal. Like, wow, we're doing this whole new universe. They set it up pretty brilliantly because nobody expected it, and now everyone has a fucking problem with it.
Well, here's the thing: when you announce final episodes, I don't think there is a huge amount of people to say, well, it might not be his last episode. Everybody, the final episode of Friends, it's over. The final episode of Seinfeld, it was over. We got the final season of Big Bang Theory coming up. It's going to be over. You know, final means final. These are
But is
Rick's-
it? There's young Sheldon. It's not over. The character still lives on.
That's a totally different show, and that's a prequel.
As is Rick's going to be a totally different show. It's not even
But-
part of The Walking Dead.
No, but that's totally different because
It's not. Lenny
yes, it
James
is.
is not on Walking Dead anymore. He's on Fear the Walking Dead. Totally different cast. Totally different budgets. They don't even shoot together.
but you knew going into his final episode he was going to be on Fear the Walking Dead. That was advertised. That was leaked out.
And were you
whatever it was.
super excited when it happened? You're like,
No, I could fucking care less.
exactly. So now they excite people and you have a problem with it.
Well, no, because the whole thing, when you market it as it's the final episode, you're not going to see him anymore. That was the marketing.
They never said that.
That was implied.
Oh, so now
And
you're
anybody-
the one implying it.
No, I'm not.
AMC never implied
I'm not.
that.
No, that's what when you say this is the last time you're going to see him.
They didn't say
and
that.
You mark. That's what they marketed.
The
it
exact
as.
words, final episode of Rick Grimes on Walking Dead. And that's
So
what
you're
it was.
saying it was. So if it was the final episode of Daredevil, would you expect to see him on another Defender show?
Yes, just like
No.
when Iron
No, you wouldn't, dude.
Dude,
no fucking way.
You're a fucking retard. Iron Fist is canceled. Luke Cage is canceled. Do I expect to see them together on Heroes for Hire? 100%. 100%.
That's a totally different scheme, and that's because of also.
Why? It was announced. Netflix, the show is canceled. It's never to be anymore. Correct. It's not. That doesn't mean the character's gone forever.
Okay, so
It's the same exact thing.
No, it's not. No. Because it's canceled for a reason. Nobody liked those fucking shows, and you even admitted that Iron Fist was the weakest fucking one out there.
Something has
So
to be
that's
the
why it
worst.
was canceled. Those two shows were the weakest Marvel shows on Netflix. That's why they were canceled. They weren't canceled because of they might try to save those characters by doing Heroes for Hire, but that's grasping. Okay,
You
you're
just
grasping.
said earlier in this episode, Walking Dead had to do something drastically to save itself. So is that
Well-
not the exact same scenario then?
Not entirely.
Exactly.
No, not entirely, because when the whole buildup from the moment that he announced that he was not going to do this show anymore, nobody, or let's say probably the 0.02% like you thought that they were going to do a fucking movie trilogy. I don't even think you knew they were going to do a movie trilogy.
I didn't know they were doing a movie trilogy, but
Did you not think this was his final episode?
No. Well, I didn't know if he was going to be dead. I didn't know if he was going to live. Like, it was 50-50 for me because I'm like, how do you kill the main character? Like, even though he says he might not be on it, what happens in 6 years when you do want to end the show and you just make him come on for one last hurrah? Like, you always leave the door open on something like that. They left the door open on Maggie.
Regardless if he died or if he lived, it was supposed to be final. He's like, I want to spend time with my family. That's it. I'm done. I can't travel anymore. All right, fine. That's it. You're done with The Walking Dead.
And he is.
He is, except for he's going to do 3 movies, which are going to take as much time, but now he gets to live in England and do it, which I will admit is pretty powerful of a character and an actor that he can control, that AMC would say, you know what? You want to go back home? Fine. We'll let you out of the show, but we have this great idea where you can film in England, do a couple movies for us. You can go home and see your family every night.
Yeah, there's
Brilliant.
not many people that have that much pull for sure.
And he does, obviously, because they did it for him. It's just like an athlete that's going to get the #1 contract, that's going to get paid the guaranteed money. He got it. And that is,
which is all the more reason that you would leave. They would never kill a character off like that.
Yeah, but we're not talking about killing or letting him live or whatever. My whole thing was, it was final. It was supposed to be final. And I thought, as well as, you got to admit, there were a lot, if not the majority of people out there that said, he's done. He's over with, especially with the comments of, I'm done with this because I need to go home. When people say, I need to go home, spend time with my family, I'm done with the show, that's it. You're done with the character. That's it. That's all I got.
I don't know, but we'll delve more into the show, whether you want them on or not, whatever. But I guess one of the issues that we kind of had fault with was the flashback scenes. So I really loved the Shane scene. And
Yeah, I did like that.
you could tell why seasons 1 and 2 were like so powerful of episodes is because you had real actors on it. Like John Bernthal is a fantastic actor.
Absolutely.
And you could tell just in his scene, if he was still on the show, how much better it would be. He just brings that much value.
Yes. And when you realize, when you don't see Shane's character in the show anymore, regardless of what happened in the comic book to him, because we know that the show took liberties from the comic book. If he did stay on, like season 3 would have been totally different because of Shane, and if he died after that, whatever. Season 4, imagine him at Terminus, dude. And at that point, Rick was getting to that point of, I've got to be this ruthless leader, kind in a weird way. Not like super ruthless like Negan, but I got to be this ruthless leader. If he had Shane by his side, unstoppable. I think those two would have been.
I mean, I think realistically, Shane would never live long in the apocalypse because he is a little too gung-ho. He's always going to get
Cocky.
himself into a situation that eventually he can't get out of. So it made sense for him to die. But I'm just saying, you could have got an actor of his caliber that would have also progressed the show just as much as keeping Shane. It's really
That's a good
John
point. That's a good
Bernthal made the show, not Shane.
Hey, and you know what? I'm glad you brought up seasons 1 and 2 because you don't like season 2.
No, I don't not like it. It's
my
fine,
favorite
but-
seasons are 1 and 2. I love the farm, and you're like, you like the farm?
I mean, it's
We
no
had this discuss-
comparison to 1. There's just like
No, there's not a comparison. One is awesome. I love the first episode is the best episode. You and I have talked about this for years.
and the show went downhill from there. That should have been Rick's last episode.
he's like, don't open Dead Inside. Fuck this shit. I'm out of here. No, but like the first episode we agree on is fantastic. It's the best episode. Season 2, I really love because it brought that group together and it showed their weaknesses. It showed their strong points. To me, it wasn't drawn out. You had the whole, like meeting new people and learning to grow. The scene with Shane in the cop car was the best flashback scene. You are correct.
Yeah.
The other ones, I didn't get, man.
Well, I did like the Hershel one, and I don't know if it was just because he recently passed, but I was like really saddened by that scene. Like,
Oh, yeah, that tugs, man.
and the dialogue
Right
that went
here.
along with it, it was like he really knew he was sick in real life, and this is what he would be telling like Andrew Lincoln as a person.
Well, yeah.
Maybe if he didn't pass, maybe it wouldn't have done that to me. So I don't know.
Well, no, I'm glad you brought that up because what I read was when they filmed that scene, they brought Scott Wilson in. They did not know that he was as sick as he was. And he did not tell anybody until after they filmed that. So he probably was drawing on his own mortality at that point. He knew it was a tough battle at that point. You know,
Yeah.
the guy's got cancer and he's looking at a limited time, and nobody on set knew until afterwards. And that's powerful. And as an actor, props to him for drawing on real life experiences and not letting that, you know, slow him down and getting, that was a powerful scene, man. You're
Yeah,
right.
so I did like that, but the one that made zero sense was Sasha. Why?
I don't fucking get that
Why?
at all. Of all the characters to
even
bring
think-
back,
I don't even
What
think
the
when they were
fuck?
on the show together, they ever had dialogue together.
like, to me, I think like she came on, he was like, "Psh, I don't even know about you. Like,
Yeah, who are you again? What's your name?
what? Yeah, I don't. Bob, who? What?
I don't know. I didn't get that. Like,
I don't even get the meeting when they tried to explain it either. The whole soldier aspect, was that it?
well, so they revealed
was the-
Shane was supposed to show him courage, which he does.
yeah,
He's kind of
yeah.
like the
It's
asshole
strength.
guy. Yeah. Herschel shows him love, which I could believe
Sure.
that too.
He's
Because
a father
even on
figure.
the farm, he was kind of like leading Rick in that role.
Yeah.
And then Sasha is supposedly wisdom.
Could you not pick a better person for that?
It's like she had wisdom a little bit, but it's like really a stretch. It was like they had a list of 10 names and they got to the 10th and they're like, well, she doesn't want to do it.
Could we not get Abraham back? Would that have not made more sense?
No, I don't think he would have.
Why?
If he's more just a military grunt, like he's just going to do what he's told.
Is he too much like Shane at that
I think he
point?
has zero wisdom.
No, but he was practical and knew what to do. He had a mission, was to get Eugene to Washington.
But Eugene told him what to do, so therefore he had no wisdom because how stupid is Eugene? And he followed Eugene.
Good
But could we
point,
not
but-
have had Glenn? Glenn was
well,
like,
Glenn? Yeah, good point.
I mean, for one, Glenn saved his life, so don't you think you would talk to Glenn?
Which wasn't that in the flashback when he was riding a horse into Atlanta? It alluded to the fact that Glenn was saving him. He's like, I gotta go see my family. I want to get to my wife, get to my.
Yeah, it was almost like it would have been like a replay of that first part of the season of season 1, trying to get back to his family, and now he's trying to get back to his new family, which they did kind of do a little bit of, but it would have worked better with Glenn there.
Do you think he asked for too much money and
Yeah,
they
I
wouldn't
mean,
pay for it?
basically, it comes down to what actors were available.
How is he not available?
I don't know what he's in.
What the
I
fuck
haven't
is he?
seen him.
Steven Yeun, what are you doing right now? We love you, but
Get on the podcast, give us an interview, see
Yeah.
what you're up to.
all right, dude.
But-
That's a goal. I want to get Steven Yeun on the podcast.
Could we not have gotten Lori, his wife, the mother of his
Exactly.
children?
And in the children, he thought he had it, but
Yeah.
didn't.
He couldn't talk to her. She's too busy doing terrible natural disaster movies.
Oh.
Could we not have gotten Carl, who ultimately provided him the full wisdom of the entire season, because he's the one that said, you can't fight. You have to keep Negan alive. You have to work with him. That
Yeah.
is the wisdom. And he didn't come back.
That's a really good point, man. And I'll back you up on Carl over anybody right now.
That's
what
why
I'm
I
saying.
saved him for last. See, I actually just thought of this now. But that's what the whole season is based off of, Carl's wisdom.
It's not the whole season. It's the whole fucking show.
Yeah, basically.
It's the whole
I agree.
fucking comic book. Here is a man who's trying to build a better world for his son, and who as a parent doesn't not want to do that for their child. Perfect.
And you just had him last season. You could have probably filmed this before you just got rid of him and be like, hey, we got this. We know Rick's leaving. He said on his interviews that he was leaving, at the end of last year. They even had
Right.
alternate endings that he might have been killed off or whatever. You couldn't have had him film a scene at the end to do this. Like, Chandler Riggs must have really pissed off the wrong people.
Or his
I think
dad
they
did. I
hate
don't
him,
know.
dude. He's doing nothing.
I think he's in college, right?
No, he didn't go then.
Oh, he didn't go. Yeah, he said he's going to go to L.A. and I'm going to cut my hair and be an actor. Chandler, get back on the show. Lead a flashback with you.
There would have been so many better options. I know their hands were probably tied with what actors were available.
I think that
But
does boil
come
down
on,
to
man.
it, but there had to have been a better choice than Sasha, dude. And I'm glad you brought up Carl because, like I said, everything he did, he left that hospital and he fought from that moment on to get to his son. It wasn't so much his wife, it was his child.
I mean, if you're on your deathbed, probably the first person you're going to think of is your child, your wife, and then like maybe your parents. That's probably going to be about it.
And your collection.
And he doesn't think of a single one of those people. Kind of weird.
Like, fuck it.
What was cool about that scene is once he does talk to Sasha, it's like an homage of Walking Dead 100 cover where he's standing on all the dead bodies. So I thought that was cool. They incorporated the comic book into it a little bit.
Yeah. Did you catch, and I saw this after the fact, in the pile of bodies, you have all your major characters and they're past, present, which is kind of funny. They show Beth from the backside because they couldn't get.
That's the only way I ever see Beth.
I guess they couldn't get Emily Kinney to come back in, but they had a actress. It was from, you didn't see her face, but you knew it was Beth.
Yeah.
You knew, you saw Jesus in there. You saw, obviously Sasha comes up from there. But the thing that I didn't notice, and it was brought to my attention, I think comicbook.com or comic book resources, was Rosita holding hands with Eugene.
No, I did not notice that.
Which alluded to their relationship in the books. Was that an homage? Did they have a little bit of relationship
Maybe
in the
it's
book?
what's to come.
Is it to come? Is it? Is that a little bit of prediction? But they're clearly holding hands. And
Interesting.
I saw that. I watched the episode Sunday. I watched it again with my kid, and I was like, I gotta watch this scene. And I watched it. I was like, yeah, they're fucking holding hands. So who knows if it comes to fruition or not? And one point I want to make with the flash forward. Thank you, Eugene, for getting rid of the fucking mullet and growing your hair into a ponytail. Thank you.
Oh, because that's so much better. A fucking mullet's better than that.
When is a mullet better than all one length hair on a dude?
When you play
Never.
hockey? I don't know.
No.
But you alluded to the time jump. We got to hit that. So they did announce it's 6 years. And I don't have a problem with the time jump. I have a problem with fucking Grimes. Judith Grimes.
Yeah.
Right. Apparently she's fucking James Bond. But why wouldn't you have just, if you hated Chandler Riggs, my thought is the comic revolves around Carl. No one cares about fucking Judith. She's a baby. We have no care for her.
And what happens to Judith in the comics?
She's dead.
Exactly.
She dies as a baby. She gets shot as Laurie's trying to escape the prison. Laurie gets shot. The bullet goes through her stomach. Boom. Hits the kid in the head. Dead. That's like issue, like, I don't know, 30. But Carl, we've watched him grow. We've cared about the character. We've grown to love him for 8 years. You hate Chandler Riggs. Okay, so wouldn't it have been cool to do a time jump, have a different actor play him, and have like a 25-year-old Carl? And it makes, to me, more sense that you have this badass fucking military, like 25-year-old dude who's now like, I'm the leader of this place. It's believable. I don't believe a 10-year-old girl running.
Yeah, and that's a great point because here you have Carl, who was 9-10 years old when it first started, grew up through the whole thing. Years have progressed. He's probably 14, but when he dies, supposedly, because it's only like 3.5 years that this whole thing has happened. So say he's like 11, 12, whatever. He's like 15 when he dies. 6 years later, like you said, he's in his 20s. He's been through everything. He's lost his entire fucking family and learned so much from going through everything, through his father, through Michonne. He still has Michonne to help him out, be the wisdom for him. He can be the strong fucking leader that is needed in a new world after an apocalypse like that. No, let's kill him off last season. Zero fucking sense, man.
Yeah, and you only going to keep him around for another, 6 episodes is all you had to keep him. So, and then have him be a different actor and get someone who can actually act. It's fine. But I just don't believe that a 10-year-old girl is going to be running Alexandria. And the fact that they're making her be Carl anyway. She picks up and puts the hat on. It's like, you're replacing Carl.
Exactly, dude.
Why not just keep fucking Carl?
Yeah.
Coral, sorry.
Coral. Well, here's the other thing. Like, I think I talked about this in the Halloween episode. Inaccuracies with handguns and guns in general. She's in the middle of the fucking woods picking off walkers with a fucking revolver. You know how inaccurate a handgun is past, I don't know,
no, she's
that far?
She's Rick Grimes' daughter. She has like a...
Oh,
yeah.
Because
she has like a sixth sense for this thing.
He always has... Well, here's the thing. In the last episode, you know...
Rick Grimes could hold the fucking gun upside down and pull it, and it would be like sharpshooting.
He could shoot it like a gangster sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Anything, you know, because that's totally accurate. When he blows up the bridge, that classic stance, that was a great thing. You know, he just holds the gun. That's a classic, you know, stance of him. And here, that kind of transcends to Judith, of all people. Why wouldn't you let it be Carl? Why can't Carl have that fucking Colt Python revolver and just fucking... It's an inaccurate gun that far away. You're not getting headshots, for Christ's sake. And she's like, she might as well have taken the barrel, blew the smoke off of it, twirled it around her fucking fingers, thrown it in a fucking holster and be like, I'm Judith Grimes. What the fuck?
I mean, you said a little earlier, at least Carl, like, he grew up in this world, so he would be a seasoned vet at this point. Yes, she's been alive, but she hasn't fought the wars.
No, she doesn't know shit, dude.
And, like, this jump ahead makes me believe that they've lived in a time of peace because nobody else has died. So if you've having all this turmoil and other groups have come up and there's been a lot of zombies around, how would nobody else have died out of their group? Everybody's left.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too, is when you see Carol, she's got long hair now. You know, 6 years later, she's going to have long hair. You know, she's going to be married to Ezekiel. They got the kingdom to take care of. Nobody else died?
Apparently not. So unless they're just going to jump ahead and not going to be on, and you'll be like, oh, what happened to them? Oh, yeah, they died. But... How were you with the no explanation of Maggie actually leaving? So apparently it was her last episode as well.
Stupid.
Couldn't you have told us where she was going? I don't understand that. So now I'm going to believe that just 6 years later, maybe they would... How would she ever come up in conversation? Oh, remember when Maggie used to be here? Oh, yeah, whatever happened to her? Oh, yeah.
She was a cool person, man. She had, like, all the crops and shit.
Yeah, she just went away.
She'd help us out with some food every once in a while. Yeah, awesome.
The conversation would never realistically happen 6 years from now. So we're never going to know.
Fucking bullshit. It's another weak way of getting rid of a character, man. And I was not expecting that so soon. I thought she was going to hang on. But when you do a time jump, what the fuck you going to do? You have to.
But just say at the end of the episode where she's going. And I don't even know why she would leave. Her only reasons were she didn't like Rick's strategy. Well, Rick's no longer around, so that doesn't matter.
You couldn't kill fucking Negan.
Yeah, you didn't want to live with. You didn't want to live with Negan, which was fine because you resolved that issue by the end. So the fact that you kept him alive means you can live with him. So why would you leave?
Yeah,
And why is she so hell-bent on... She's so sad about poor Glenn. She never cares about Glenn or Hershel, ever. She's like, fuck them.
What?
She never mentions Beth ever. Like, when she died, she was like, all right, whatever. Stop carrying her. It's just dead weight. Glenn, she can't get over, you know?
Glenn. She fucking smashed eggs on the dude's head. This season 2. Sorry.
I'm lost. I don't remember that. But anyway, I just thought it was dumb that they don't explain where she's at.
No, that is not resolved, but it's not resolved for a good reason too. I mean, if she's with Georgie, that's my thing, and
I think so too. But why? Just give me a why.
I don't know. I don't know if they're ever going to give you a why for sure, like a 100% why. But it's obviously been alluded to. It was alluded to all season long. I think we talked about it, you know, if not on this, then personally, that, you know, they kept talking about her throughout the episodes leading up to it. So it's kind of like, are we supposed to assume shit? But then again, is this a show where we need to assume anything? I assumed it was Rick's last fucking thing. He ain't going to be in The Walking Dead no more. No, 3 more fucking movies. Well, what the fuck?
Maybe Maggie will have her own mini-series. I don't know.
Maggie and me. You know, who knows? Maybe when she's done doing her ABC series that might fail, or whatever movie she's doing, she's going to come back. It leaves a door. here's the thing. How do you feel about leaving the door open for two extremely popular characters? Is it too much?
I'm fine with the Rick thing because he is the character of all characters. The Maggie thing, she's not really that important, honestly. Her character hasn't developed in years. I could care less if she's dead or alive, but I just want to know what it is.
Yeah, and I think they tried to develop her with being like the leader of Hilltop and everything, but it wasn't developed enough. But whatever.
The one thing I wanted to touch on with the time jump is they did introduce Magna at the end. She has like the tattoo. That's who Judith saves. So she's going to become like the new, I guess, friend of the group. She's like a new military person that they can always rely on. So obviously we're going to have this whole feeler out type of thing. But her first issue of the comic book is issue 127. And the whole time jump is in that issue as well. So those books are starting to take off. They're like $30-$40 now. So that's where they're at in the comic. They're at issue 127 and there's like 180 some issues out. So they're catching up.
Man, they are. Do you think they're trying to catch up? You know, like make it more current? Do you think that's a goal of theirs? Or
I think after this Whisperer story, which is clearly coming in the second half of the season, after they do that story, I think they're going to go in a whole new direction. Because the comic kind of sucks right now, honestly, and they're living in like a normal society. I don't really see that playing off on TV. So I think that's where they're going to depart.
And how do you see like Daryl progressing? I mean, you want to talk about like, you need a new lead male, you need a new lead female character, and
I don't see it. But what gives me hope is Fear is such a ensemble type of show that every single character is strong and they carry it as a cast. I think The Walking Dead's going to be the same way. I don't think you're going to have these one type of person like Rick. He was good actor, Andrew. He could carry the show. I don't see anyone doing that, but I think as an ensemble they can. And I hope they go that route. I don't want to see Norman try to have an entire episode dedicated to himself. It's not going to work.
No, I think you're correct in that. And I think what makes a show, a series show, good, and even a movie, is an ensemble cast. I think that's what really worked well for Marvel movies, was after introducing everybody, when you brought them together as Avengers and everything, it started to be an ensemble cast. And that's what people really look for. And I don't think there's a strong enough character in The Walking Dead. Like, Daryl's not strong enough to carry, like, Rick Grimes. He's not.
AMC seems to think so.
Well, that's what I want to get into was their contracts.
So they offered Norman Reedus 3 years, roughly $60 million.
That's a lot of dough, dude.
Now, the thing with his contract is if they decide, hey, we don't want you anymore, we're going to kill you, the show is canceled tomorrow, whatever, he's guaranteed that money. They said it's like unprecedented in Hollywood.
Well, that brings me back to Andrew Lincoln commanding that money to do these movies. I don't even know what that contract is.
Yeah, who knows? That's got to be.
It's got to be more than it has to be similar or more than what Norman Reedus is getting to do those movies. But Andrew Lincoln was a powerful enough actor, and Rick Grimes was a powerful enough character to command that. Hey, I want to live here and do this. You're going to do what I say. That's basically what happened. Now you change, and you have to have a different lead male. You have to have a lead male. You have to have a lead female. Maggie tried to be that lead female. I don't know if she necessarily succeeded, really. I think Carol can do a better job. And I've always pulled for character. I love Carol. I loved her character.
Well, they offered Melissa McBride 3 years, $20 million, which is still a lot of money, but I do find it funny that Daryl commands 3 times as much.
I don't see why there's that much difference. I think they should be more similar. And I'm not.
See, this is where the Me Too movement is like a real thing.
I agree with that, because I agree with that 100%, man. There's no reason why she should not command as much as he does. What has he fucking done?
Honestly, she's a better actor.
Oh, she is.
He is more popular. You can just see from his autograph lines, his merchandising, whatever.
Sure. I stand in Carol's line all day long, though. I just think she's cool.
I don't know. As far as being on the show, they hold the same amount of screen time. So
They do, but look at the screen time that they have done, and look at what impact Carol has had on Rick and the group. And I think it's a stronger influence than Daryl.
100%, I agree. See, I agree once in a while.
See, you heard that on Dysfunctional Nerdcast. We actually do agree. We're not arguing all the time.
But they also said, going with the money they're spending, that the 3 Rick movies are going to have a real movie budget, which I expect to be like a horror movie budget. So probably I'm thinking around 10 million, per movie. That's still a lot of money for fucking AMC network TV, dude.
That's a lot for AMC. Let's be honest. It's between network and, like, say, HBO Showtime movie budget.
Yeah.
Okay. So 10 million, that's a lot of money. And that's a good amount to get things done right. So let's see if they do it right.
And then when you're paying these salaries on top of it,
dude, that's insane.
The show's going nowhere. All right, it's going.
So what do you mean it's going nowhere?
It's not going to go away.
Oh, okay, okay.
The show is going to last for years and years. They have this, I think, timeline for to last another 8-9 years at least.
So what do you think about this whole universe theory? We're starting to see, I mean, obviously Marvel started the whole MCU. It started a universe. You didn't hear the term universe in TV shows, movies, anything like that. Marvel has a universe between TV, movies, comics, right? They draw upon their comics for inspiration for their movies and TV shows. DC tried to do their universe. Eventually, hopefully they get it right. Walking Dead, I think, is looking at Marvel and Disney, because Disney creates universes as well, and smaller scale. Okay. They're looking at a longevity of a product like Disney and Marvel does. Do you think AMC can accomplish that by doing the movies, the one shots? Are they going to do extra comic books? Do you think Kirkman would be like, hey, maybe I'll write a side comic?
See, I'm shocked they haven't done side comics.
Yeah, me
because
too.
Every
Honestly.
comic has a mini series or a crossover or a special 6-part event.
Yeah.
They've never really done it. They had a couple one-shot specials with the Michonne and Tyrese and Negan, or not Negan, the governor, prequels. And they did do the Here's Negan book.
Right.
That's been it.
And I think they did a paperback with the governor, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it kind of touched.
But that's not even a comic. It's just
no, it's not
those aren't even true spin-offs. They're just prequels to let you know where the characters came from.
Right.
They haven't done a true here's a whole nother part of the world. And in comics, that's so easy. Costs them nothing to print, and he hasn't done it.
And if it fails, it fails, right?
Yeah, who cares? Cancel it.
Yeah.
Marvel reboots a book every month. Who cares?
Yeah. Look at the Star Wars series that they do. They have to shit.
Thousands of them.
Yeah. If it doesn't work,
literally,
you cut it off. Go move on to the next character. I don't know how far can the Walking Dead universe go is the ultimate question. What do you think on that?
I think I see it lasting at least as long as it already has. So another 9 years, easy.
You think another 10 years is possible?
And I think the fact that they did end the show the way it was, it started a whole new show. And even, I know it's marketing bullshit and they have to say what they say, but Andrew Lincoln, he said this is, how do I want to say this? This is the end of the beginning, is what he said. And I think that's true. This was the first story of The Walking Dead has just ended. Now we're getting into the second story.
But really, when you look at that, the way we want to look at the way movies and shows are made, it's a reboot. Right?
Essentially.
Yeah. So you're rebooting, which needs to happen. They realize that, I said before, with Fear. Fear was not popular at the beginning. It really wasn't. And I gave up on it because I think it fucking sucked. It just did not hold my interest. The story wasn't there. It's just maybe I was used to The Walking Dead. I don't know. Now we know. Well, maybe we should get into the ratings a little bit.
Before you touch that, I do want to you're bringing up Fear. This time jump, there's no way Fear and The Walking Dead are going to cross paths at this point. Because the way Fear ended, you were kind of... Morgan was trying to get back to Rick with his new group of people, and we're like, oh man, they said they would never cross over, but I think they're going to. Like, this may happen. But obviously now that they jumped ahead 6 years, Morgan's obviously not there. That means he stayed with his group. So Fear is going to be a totally separate show. It's going to stay that way. There's just no way they can cross.
Do you think they could ever time jump enough in Fear to catch up?
I mean, they just did. And then to have to time jump again 6 more years in Fear, it would really make no sense with the way it ended.
Walking Dead did they did 2 time jumps.
Yeah, so actually Fear would have to jump ahead 7.5 years. It would really be a stretch. And then you're telling me Morgan's been trying to get back there for 7.5 years?
And why didn't he? And
right, it opens up that whole can of worms.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to stay separate, which I think they should, because I fear it has been getting really good. There's no need to try to get rid of it at this point.
Man.
And that's what we'll get into the ratings thing. So I was joking around with Josh, and I sent him an article, and it was like, well, one was from Forbes and one was from Variety. And they're like, basically one said ratings are tanking, and the other said ratings holding strong.
Yeah.
They were right next to each other. How could one be tanking and one holding strong?
Dude, I don't even get this. I can't even like get into it. Like, I'm just like, because we had this whole argument, and I was just like, I don't get this entirely. It's all in the headline, dude. Media.
It's fucking clickbait. People need to know it's clickbait.
Yes. People, please. Like, I've learned my lesson. Get your facts fucking straight. I've made mistakes on this show, and I admit it, but get your facts straight.
Here on DNC, yes, we do present our opinions, but when something's so clearly fucking dictated in writing and numbers, you can't dispute it.
No.
And that's what I'm about to show.
Yeah, and I might argue a little bit with you, a tiny bit, but it's not to counter argue everything, because you are correct, and I agree with it. But the ratings, dude, people read the fucking article and read more than one article, not just the headline.
And the fact that they make these articles as clickbait, all it does is show how popular Walking Dead really is, because you would never click the fucking article unless you're searching for it. So why would you search for something you have no interest or care about in?
Good point, man.
Am I right?
Yeah, I got your back on that one, man. So what you got there?
So the ratings, it's still the highest cable show there is. It's number 1, all right? It's number 1. Right now, the ratings are over a 6, okay?
Okay.
Season 1 started at a 5.24 as the average. So right now, ratings are still higher than Season 1. And when Season 1 was on, everybody was, this is the greatest show ever. They're going to win all these awards. AMC is like the best cable network there is. Oh my God, Walking Dead, everything. Well, how comes Walking Dead is supposedly failing now when they have more viewers from when it started?
Okay, now you're looking from start to finish, right? So you're looking at, say, 5 to 6, right? Basically. What was it in the middle?
I mean, the highest was 14.38.
That's huge, dude.
Right. It was beating the NFL. It was beating fucking Sunday Night Football, which is impossible.
Which we know how popular football is in the United States of America. Football's very popular, right? And
there's no show that's ever rated that high. Like, that is so off the charts. It's an anomaly. It's impossible to sustain. Nothing can do that. Nothing. It's like saying, well, nothing beat the Super Bowl, so all the other shows means nobody watches it. Well, no, there's still a fucking shitload of people watching it. Just because it didn't beat the Super Bowl means nothing.
Yeah. We all know the
Super
Bowl's going to win.
Ooh.
Super Bowl's going to win on that Sunday night. It has to.
Yeah.
Even if you don't follow football, most people watch the Super Bowl.
And honestly, if you ever wondered why Walking Bread, the
walking, was that wheat or white or rye?
It's a rye.
Rye, or like rye toast, a little jelly on top, butter.
You ever wondered why Walking Dead takes a hiatus in the mid-season? It is the week before NFL playoffs. and it comes back the week after Super Bowl.
For good reason.
They're not fucking stupid, all right?
No, they're not.
So whatever. Their highest was a 14.38. They're at a 6. There's no disputing that the ratings have declined from its height, but it's still the number one show, and it's still drawing higher than it started. And when it started, all you heard was praise of how well the numbers are doing. But now the numbers are total shit, and apparently not a single person watches the show. At least that's what the articles make you think.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
All right. Like, Fear, don't you think the general consensus is that this show's basically about to be canceled?
I don't know if it's about to be canceled, but I just don't. I think the general consensus in that show is that it sucks.
But, like, nobody watches it, right? Nobody.
I don't think a lot of. I would. Impression I get is not a lot of people watch it.
Okay, so
What you got?
right now, Fear is averaging a 2.27. All right, so it's
2.27.
doing like half of Walking Dead, a little less than half.
Yeah.
At its height, it was doing like a 5 or 6. All right, so you would say the numbers aren't the greatest, maybe, but let's put them in perspective of what other shows are out there, okay? Mm-hmm. So we said earlier in this episode, Purge just got renewed for season 2, doing very well for USA. If you read the articles, it's one of USA's top performing shows. It pulls a fucking 1.09. A 1. So if that's highly successful and Walking Dead's at a 6, how is that shit?
But do you have to take into perspective what's successful for a particular network? For them, that might be really fucking good.
But Walking Dead is the highest of all networks.
Yeah, I agree. And
So it doesn't matter what channel it's on, it would still be the highest rated show no matter what channel.
That's not even disputable. But for USA, that's
A 1 basically is good for any network show.
actually, you can go less than 1 and it's deemed as success.
So, you know, I'm just talking like other shows that would be compatible with Walking Dead. American Horror Story, right? It's on season 8. That wins so many fucking awards for writing and directing and all this stuff. It's only point at 3.03, which, by the way, is FX's highest rated series. So, again, half of Walking Dead. Mayans, right? Highly successful.
Yeah.
I saw an article that said Mayans is tearing it up. It's got that's also been renewed for season 2. It's a spinoff of, obviously, Sons of Anarchy. Very successful show. Mayans only pulled a 1.628, and Sons of Anarchy, at its highest, only pulled a 3.77. So these shows are getting renewed. Sons was pulling half of what Walking Dead is doing right now and was popular enough to get its own spinoff. All right, and then if you want to go like with other AMC shows, Breaking Bad. Who hasn't loved Breaking Bad, right? It's one of the greatest shows of all time, is what people proclaim it to be. I enjoyed it. But guess what that pulled? A 2.054. A third of Walking Dead. But guess what was just announced? A Breaking Bad movie.
But what you have to remember, and I read about this, was Breaking Bad was earlier on, and Mad Men was early on in AMC's, say, series career. And that set the ground for doing The Walking Dead. They were happy enough.
Why doesn't Better Call Saul pull better numbers? Better Call Saul pulls
I don't know.
way less numbers than Fear the Walking Dead does. They're both spin-offs of a popular show.
I can't argue that point, but I'm saying Mad Men was even less than I might be wrong. I'm not. Don't quote me on
I
this.
don't even want to go with the history thing,
But
because
I'm
it's
just
like
saying, history-wise,
fucking
AMC
MASH
has
paved the
seen
way
it,
for Seinfeld.
and they've learned. But
I mean,
AMC has learned how to produce a good show. So,
as has every channel. It's like saying,
but AMC's behind every other channel. They're newer, so they got to learn.
but they still have higher numbers than all the FX and AM or USA, WB, all these other shows that have been around before AMC.
I don't know.
If you want to go comic books,
Yeah,
Arrow, highly successful show, right? It's probably their number one show on CW.
yeah, which is crazy.
It pulled into a million spinoffs with Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl and Flash. And what? It's like 6 seasons, I think. And Arrow pulls a 2.89. Again, half of Walking Dead. Cloak and Dagger. Now, this is Freeform. That's like, who the fuck even has Freeform, okay? Very low channel,
seriously.
but that was renewed for season 2. The numbers on this are hilarious. It pulled a .2
Wow.
in live viewing. Now it's plus 35, which is pretty much when people watch TV anymore. It did get a 4.4. The Walking Dead numbers are only the live numbers. They're not the plus 7s or plus 35. So these numbers I'm giving you are actually way higher. They're double and triple. But I'm just keeping it comparative. All the other numbers are based on their live viewing. It's killing every other horror show. It's killing every other comic book show that there's millions of. They announce more and more of them every day. We talked about the DC streaming service, creating shows off comic books. It's beating every single show on like cable TV. Yes, it's not beating ABC shows and CBS. People get those channels for free.
Right.
They're not comparable.
Which is harder for them to get a good rating. Right? Because they're free.
You're going to pull higher numbers. Everybody gets CBS and ABC and NBC. They always pull bigger numbers. It's apples and oranges. But as far as paid cable TV, Walking Dead is number 1 by a lot. So don't buy into the fucking bullshit that the show, nobody watches it, nobody cares about it, the show's going to be canceled. It's not even remotely close to true. So the fact that they're doing this universe and they're going to expand it, yes, it's happening, whether you like it or not.
Okay. So I know you like to make fun of me for watching this show, but I love the classic Hawaii Five-0. You're giving me the eye roll right now, which is great. And I really enjoy the new Hawaii Five-0, which is in its 8th season. It averages 11 million viewers last season. Okay. That's a lot for network. It's deemed a success for CBS. Okay. It has hit.
They average like 10 though.
But it has hit 200 episodes as of this past Friday. 200 episodes. That is now beyond success for network television, which is free. Crazy, right?
They also do 26 episodes per season, so it's twice as many.
But that's no fault of why doesn't AMC do that? They don't have the money to do it.
Probably, yeah. I mean, you got to pay the actors. It'd be twice as big a budget.
I don't know. But I would think, like, hopefully.
Do you want 26 episodes of Walking Dead? I don't. I want to keep it more special. I hate 26 episodes. It gets very tiresome. It's why I can't keep up with Arrow and Flash. I think they're fine shows. I'm not.
It is hard. It is
I'm
hard
not wasting my
to
time
catch
on that
up
much.
with shows. It's hard, very hard to catch up with shows if you didn't start from the beginning. But I'm just saying, like,
Gotham, I'm always fucking behind on the DVR. I can't keep up
Gotham.
with 26
Don't even get me started
episodes.
on Gotham. I watched the first 2 seasons. You hated it. And I said, wow, it's really good. And then I got out of it. And you're like, I'm still watching it. I'm like, you're still fucking watching it? I got to go back and watch it. But here's the thing. Network television, 200 episodes is deemed a fucking success. That's pretty crazy. Like, you look at network television, they're not even getting the ratings I think that AMC is getting and things like that. Showtime, we talked about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is, I think, lower than...
Yeah, it was pulling a little lower, but again, you have to pay even more for that.
Right.
Things
Which
that you
gotta
pay
think
for,
about.
you
You got to
can't-
think about that.
They're not equatable.
It's hard to equate them. I think it is once you do serious math, but I'm stupid nerd, so I can't do that.
I mean, face it, there's a lot of people in the world that refuse to pay for cable. And guess what they are going to have to watch? They have to watch CBS because they have nothing else to fucking watch. So if they really want to sit in front of a TV, they're going to watch Hawaii Five-0 because it's the only option. It's whatever.
Yeah, but
it's that
still
versus
not,
ABC
it's
and
still
NBC.
not,
Three
it's,
channels.
It's still not doing remotely as good as The Walking Dead.
Well, at its
kinda
height.
like-
But it's doing better now.
I don't even know that. I'm trying to pull up the numbers now, and I'm not actually seeing. I think number was like 11 million viewers on the last season. I think might be a little bit bigger than Walking Dead. 'Cause Walking Dead dropped off. It really did. I think what we had 5 million on the first season, give or take 5-6
I mean,
million.
think how big.
And when you have on a network show like a paid show like AMC, you're going to have it go up and down. And we saw that bell curve.
Every show has it.
But like for some reason, though, once you hit 200 episodes, there has to be something going right for Hawaii Five-0 for them to say, we're going to keep this show. There has to be something right for AMC to say, we're going to keep Breaking Bad. We're going to keep Mad Men. We're going to keep Walking Dead. Well, we kind of fucked up on Fear, but we're going to reboot it. It did good. We're going to keep it.
Doesn't the bell curve show that it started off with a small audience? It built. It got really popular. Now you're at its height. And then you start to lose your casual fans, the fake ass fans, the wannabes. They all die off.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you right now by season 8, they're at their core audience number. It's probably not going to go up or down much at this point. You either like it or you don't. That's their core audience. It's who's going to watch it every week is 6 million people. I don't see it going down.
Yeah,
I don't see it going up either. It's going to stay.
You're going to plateau.
And if you're going to stay and still be the highest rated cable TV show, that's all they want.
Now, is that highest rated on Sunday night or ever?
No, ever. All, out of the whole week. It's the highest rated. So you can't go anywhere up from number 1. And that's where they're at.
Which is funny because like I love Game of Thrones. I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I like that better than I love Sons of Anarchy. I like it better than that. I like it better than Walking Dead. I definitely love it better than Fear. Love it better than Breaking Bad. I think it's better than Sneaky Pete on AMC. I think it's better than Man in a High Castle on Amazon. Like these, Game of Thrones is my favorite all-time series show. Better than Sopranos, anything. Okay? We look at the numbers, they're not there. But why does everybody that you know of talk about it? It's talked about at work. It's talked about on the streets, but the numbers aren't there. How does that even equate? I don't get that.
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know.
But you know at work. I mean, we talk about that shit. There are plenty of people.
Look it up, people. Like, you try to dispute the numbers all you want. They are what they are. These aren't our biases. I'm just reporting what's shown. Fucking Nielsen ratings. So you can hate the show. You can. That's fine. But just don't ever say in an argument, well, no one cares about the show. No one watches it. It's not true.
Yeah, a lot of people do like The Walking Dead. And I still do like The Walking Dead. As much as I fucking hate on it. Like, I hate on it. I think, here's the thing, dude. And I think you can appreciate it, is I hate on it because I'm such a fucking fan. I stuck through it. That's fan. Is I'm sticking through it. Right? You stick through something. How many fucking Marvel comics have you stuck through that sucked? But you stuck through it and you continued to collect.
Zero.
What series did you stop collecting?
Daredevil. There's been,
how many issues did it take?
Of them. 20. Really, the only runs that I get like full runs. That's kind of, I do full runs of. I stopped Captain America. I stopped Iron Man. The only runs I stopped Avengers. I did the core like first series of Avengers. I stopped. The only one I really get continuously is Spider-Man.
So basically what I did was I loved The Walking Dead and I gave Fear to Walking Dead a good solid shot and it sucked. And I said, no, fuck it. I'm done.
Just well, why not pick up on the reboot? Just like on the comic. Hey, they rebooted it. I'll pick up a number 1.
I just didn't have the time at that time to pick it up. And I will pick it up. I will. Because you said it will. It was a decent reboot.
I can't wait for the debate on that when he says how bad it sucks, and I'm like, no, it's so good.
I might agree with you. Hey, dude, hey, man, if I agree with you, I agree with you. If not, I don't. You know, it is what it is.
Do you know what ratings are higher than Walking Dead?
What?
Dysfunctional Nerdcast. That's right, baby.
Fuck yeah.
So send us those emails. dysfunctionalnerdcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on Facebook under the same. Follow us on all the shit, social media, YouTube.
Twitter, @the Nerdcast.
Because we bring the real news, the real numbers. We don't sugarcoat this shit.
Real news, real conversation. You just heard it right here, you know?
And if you want to dispute it, hit us up. Let us know. I'll discuss it. I'd love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, bring it up, and give us a handle that you want to go by. We'll acknowledge you, and who knows? We got another episode coming up soon, right? With that interview.
That's right.
So let us know who you think that interview is with. Brains.
You got it. So until next time, ride the white horse and get to the chopper!
Excelsior!